Hello, hello. Yeah, mic's working. That's great. Yep, we are live. Yeah, my camera is working. Alright, awesome. Everything is working. So, hello everyone, whoever is watching. If Panzu's watching, I hope he's watching. They're watching. Today, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. We have Taliban. They announced their government, and it's let's just say it's there's people in it that really shouldn't be in any position of power. Let's just say that. There's whoa. Um, there's also an ad where an Indian ad, Kerala, which is a province in the south, where there was a transgender person and it was a jewelry ad, a trans woman, and it was, I mean, I did not expect it because LGBTQ rights are not great in India. So for that to happen is incredible to me. It's just wow. Like, that shows progress. India's going in the right way, and I'm really glad that it is. And then we have even more positive news in that Mexico decriminalizes abortion, which is amazing, and I love that. Like, I like talking about negative and positive things. I don't want my channel just to be like, focused just on negativity or positivity. Kind of want to talk about everything. And after that, we'll look for more news. But this is just the three that stuck out for me initially. So, hey, without further ado, let's get to it. Okay. Taliban. Boom. Here we go. Okay, so Taliban announces new government. I can't talk. Announces new government for Afghanistan. Okay, so let's see this article here. Sorry, I'm just moving some things. Yep. Taliban have announced an interim government in Afghanistan, declaring the country an Islamic emirate. An emirate is like, I think, a state in the Middle East. That's what they call it. Excuse me. Oh, god damn. Ugh, I don't know. The new cabinet, entirely male. So this whole idea that the Taliban was gonna, stay progressive like they were claiming, oh, women will, they'll be part of the society, blah, 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 they'll hold their location. Nah. That's just them trying to make sure that nobody goes back in Afghanistan and invades again. That's the whole thing. New cabinet, entirely male, is made up of senior Taliban figures, some of whom are notorious for attacks on the U.S. forces over the last 2 decades. So yeah, great. We have anti-US people in positions of power. I wonder how that's going to turn out. God. It will be led by Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund, one of the movement's founders who is on a UN blacklist. Wow. The interior minister is the feared FBI wanted leader of the Haqqani militant group Sirajuddin Haqqani. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. Not to them, but just to anybody who is from the Middle East or from Afghanistan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these names incorrectly. The Taliban seized control of most of Afghanistan more than 3 weeks ago, ousting the previously elected leadership. The announcement of acting cabinet is a key step in the formation of a Taliban government. The new leadership will face significant challenges, not least stabilizing the country's economy. Back before the US came in, when the Taliban was in power, after the US came in, before, this is again during this, I think, the 80s, and the Taliban had power after the US left. They did not do well economically. So I wonder if, I'm pretty sure they're not going to do well now. So we'll see. Hopefully that people won't suffer too much. But under the Taliban, I don't know. Taliban had previously said that they wanted to form an inclusive government. Okay, yeah. And the sky is green and the grass is blue. However, all of the cabinet ministers announced on Tuesday already established Taliban leaders, and no women were included. Like, why would anyone ever believe these people? They're just trying to make it seem like they're going to be inclusive, but they're going to be what they're always going to be, which is an oppressive, theocratic regime. Right? Ministers told to implement Islamic law. Oh, sorry, my lighting went off. A statement attributed to Taliban Supreme Leader Mao. Oh God, I can't pronounce this. Maulawi Hibatullah. Oh my God, Akunduzada. Okay, I probably butchered the hell out of that name. Told the government to uphold Sharia. Yeah, if they're upholding Sharia, there's no inclusivity and human rights really going on. So I don't know what they're talking about. They're not talking about much. Let me get my phone. Give me a sec. Okay, good. The Taliban wants strong and healthy relations with our neighbors and all other countries based on mutual respect and interaction, said the statement released in English, with the caveat that they would respect the international laws and treaties that are not in conflict with Islamic law and the country's national values. So basically, only treaties that will go along with exactly what they want, and nothing else. That's the translation of that political statement. Got to read between the lines with these politicians, even Taliban politicians. Hibdullah, okay, I'll call him Abdullah Ak. Has never made a public appearance. This is the first message appearing to come from him since the Taliban took control last month. Hassan Akund, the new interim prime minister, served as a deputy foreign minister from 1996 to 2001 when the group was last in power. Yeah. So not the 80s, the 90s. Sorry, I messed up the decade. Okay. Sorry for the yawning, y'all. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Sirajuddin Haqqani, the new acting interior minister, is the head of the militant group known as the Haqqani Network, who are affiliated with the Taliban and have been behind some of the deadliest attacks in the country's 2-decade-long war, including a truck bomb explosion in Kabul in 2017 that killed more than 150 people. So you literally have an actual terrorist as the interior minister. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I expected anything else, but this is legitimately terrifying, y'all. We don't know what they're going to do next. I don't think they're just going to stay in Afghanistan and chill. Hardly. Unlike the wider Taliban, the Haqqani Network has been designated a foreign terrorist organization by the US, and it also maintains close ties with Al-Qaeda. Yeah, so Al-Qaeda is going to be back at it now with Taliban in power. According to the FBI profile on Haqqani, He is wanted for questioning in connection with January 2008 attack on a hotel in Kabul that killed 6 people, including an American citizen. Wow, that's bad. Taliban spokesperson announced appointments. This is the guy. It adds, he is believed to have coordinated and participated in cross-border attacks against the United States and the coalition forces in Afghanistan. Haqqani also allegedly was involved in the planning of the assassination attempt on former Afghan President Hamid Karzai in 2008. Okay, so this guy is basically the evil, like the even more evil part of the Taliban. And he's got a position of power. Like, this is really, really, really bad. Who knows? They probably will launch terrorist attacks now on the US or on other parts of the world, like Canada, where I live, Europe, Asia, Africa, I don't know, everywhere. You know? The Haqqani Network has also been blamed for an attack on the US Embassy near NATO bases in Kabul on 12 September 2011. 8 people, 4 police officers and 4 civilians were killed in that attack. So yeah, very evil movement. A movement which has long moved in the shadows, whose names would surface only on the world's terrorism watch lists, is now announcing titles used in governments the world over. Wow. This is so messed up. So messed up. It's ridiculous. An actual terrorist getting in government power and access to all of Afghan's resources, and any US military resources that were not destroyed is now in their hands. Yeah, this is really, really bad. Okay, acting Prime Minister Mullah Akund appears as a compromise candidate after reported rivalry among leading military and political leadership who will serve under him. Its caretaker nature always provides breathing space as the Taliban move from guns to government. It also underlines the Taliban's view that a Taliban victory can only mean Taliban rule. Sources say they pushed back against calls for an inclusive government. They balked at including former political figures and officials who've had their turn at the top, especially those tainted by corruption. I'm guessing that includes women. in their eyes. Why should we let others pick our cabinet when other countries pick their own? Was one retort. Yeah, okay. We just want you to pick an inclusive cabinet, based on talent and merit, not based on not sexism. But hey. As for women, there was never a chance they would be given a ministerial role. The Ministry of Women's Affairs seemed to have been, for now, abolished altogether. There's a second article that I want to read, and then I think I will give you my full thoughts on it. Actually, no, wait, there's more to this article. And I read a little bit of this article. It seems like the same, honestly. So, never mind, I'm not going to do that. Other appointments to the new government include Mullah Yaqub as acting defense minister. He is the son of Taliban founder and late supreme leader Mullah Omar. He first came to prominence in 2015 when, in an audio message released after his father's death, he called for unity within the militant group. Wow, so he's the son of the Taliban founder and supreme leader Mullah Omar, the late one, right? The most recent one, I guess. Yeah, okay, that's gonna be great. Taliban co-founder Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar will be one of PM's deputies. Baradar was previously head of Taliban's political office and oversaw the signing of the US withdrawal agreement last year. Okay. Which made by Donald Trump. Amir Khan Mutaki is acting foreign minister, a senior leader who took part in negotiations with the US about the withdrawal. Asked why no women were given posts, one senior Taliban figure told the BBC that the cabinet had not been finalized yet. I highly doubt they're going to add a woman, and even if they ever do, which would be absolutely jaw-dropping for me, they would probably be put in a position with no power, like just an ordinary symbolic sort of thing, nothing really actually gonna happen. It's just gonna be, whatever, right? Okay, the government announcement came on the day Taliban fighters fired shots at protests of hundreds of people, mainly women, in Kabul. Footage from the scene showed people running to safety while heavy gunfire and warning shots fired by militants was heard in the background. The Taliban now claim full control of Afghanistan, saying that they have defeated resistant fighters who were holding out against them in the Panjshir Valley north of Kabul. The National Resistance Front of Afghanistan, NRF, said in a statement that it considers the announcement of the Taliban caretaker cabinet illegal and a clear sign of the group's enmity with the Afghan people. So here's the whole list right here of the Taliban. Key leaders, this guy, leader Amir Al-Mumin, this guy. Former Taliban Chief Justice, leader since 2016, ultimate authority on political, religious, and military affairs. Interim government, Deputy Prime Minister Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, former head of the Taliban's political office in Qatar. Prime Minister Mullah Hassan Akhund, leader of the Taliban Leadership Governing Council. Deputy Prime Minister Mulavi Abdul Salam Hanafi, former member of Taliban negotiation team in Qatar. Defense, these guys. So, scroll down. There's no women, obviously, in the government. And there's known terrorists who have done terrorist acts themselves in the government and have killed US citizens and Afghani people and, any people just in general is going to be bad. And they're in government right now. They're in power. So I don't think that this is the last we're going to hear of the Taliban's terrorist attacks, because they are probably going to help Al-Qaeda and the Haqqani network, which has done damage to US and Afghanistan. This is honestly very terrifying, because now we don't know. Anytime, anywhere, any place, now a terrorist attack could happen. Oh, man. This is just bad. I mean, I think the US had to pull out, but it's just the whole Afghanistan thing is a mess. Like, even before 9/11, there was problems. They had already gone in to stop the Soviets and funded the Mujahideen, which one of the groups that split off that was the Taliban. Excuse me. And yeah, and Osama bin Laden was one of that, right? So the problem now is they've created a situation where now the Taliban is stronger than ever. They accomplished, I think, nothing in 20 years they were there. Nothing. They couldn't get rid of the Taliban. They couldn't solve the corruption in Afghanistan. And the fact that they paid their soldiers really badly, which is probably one of the reasons why the soldiers just said, nah, we're not doing this. and all the dead Afghan citizens and US American the American soldiers, the drone strikes killing so many civilians. Like, it just was a horrible situation in Afghanistan. I've recently been watching a documentary actually on 9/11 and the whole context behind it and what happens afterward. It's on Netflix. It's called Turning Point in 9/11. It's really good. It's a documentary that has just come out this year. It's really good. If any of y'all have Netflix, you should watch it. It's really good. It's really explains the context. And I've watched 3 episodes so far of the 5, and yeah, I mean, it is genuinely crazy how badly the US intelligence was and how much they messed up Afghanistan by running in to stop the Soviets just because of the Cold War. And they funded these crazy religious extremists. And you know, Afghanistan before that time had a university. Women were wearing skirts and they were not covered, and they were going to university. So it's not like Afghanistan was terrible before, you know. Like, I'll show you the pictures right now. Women in 1970. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this. They're in skirts. Faces showing. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, now this is different. But look at this. Look at this. Look at the difference. Yeah, so they're wearing something, but their face is shown. Look at that. Just look at this. Look at this. These are the pictures. So these were the people who, like that country in the 70s, 80s, basically before the US showed up. Look at that. Women were wearing skirts, going to university and studying. So the idea that the US went in like heroes of justice and democracy and saved Afghanistan from the horrors of the USSR and their oppression. Nah, bro. Nah. Why did you have to go? Let Afghanistan deal with that. But they jumped in because, oh no, USSR getting power, we gotta go in there. And what do? They go and fund rebels. They go fund the Mujahideen. And one of the groups that splintered off that, I think, was the Taliban. And remember, these are extremely religious fanatics. These are not normal religious people. We're talking about the absolute extreme, far-right people. And these people were funded, given US weaponry, US things, and they eventually beat the Soviets out of there. And then the US just said, well, job done. But then the Taliban took power, and then Afghanistan became terrible. And then I think you had civil war in Afghanistan, which tore the country up. It was terrible. Of course, there was the Northern Alliance soldiers in Afghanistan who were fighting against the Taliban and wanted freedom for people. And then that civil war happened, and then this bing, bing, bing. And it was so many thousands of people have died in Afghanistan as a result of the US intervention there. And it wasn't just the US. I mean, Pakistan helped them. I think Saudi Arabia helped them. But US did supply them with the most advanced like weaponry, like a lot of good stuff in terms of military for them, and money, right? A lot of money went into that. So they created this situation, and now everyone is going to suffer because of it. You know, it's terrible. It's absolutely horrible. So just watch that documentary, y'all. It's an amazing, amazing documentary. I would recommend it to anybody. So, yep. Let's see. Do I have anything else to say? I don't think I have anything else to really say about this. I think this is terrible. This is horrible. The Taliban is clearly oppressing people, oppressing women specifically, and probably definitely LGBTQ people and things like that. And human rights in Afghanistan are going to go back 1,000 years, I think, and it's just going to be horrible. And the fact that the right-wingers are now trying to say, don't take Afghan refugees, is terrible. Like, you guys caused the problem, and now you don't want to take the refugees. You don't want to help, you don't want to take the result of the problem, which is the refugees. They're trying to run away from this horrible, oppressive government that you helped create. And, well, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. So basically, take in the refugees, as many as you can, and provide them support. Because you created the mess, so you have a responsibility to help fix the mess, or at least mitigate the damage somehow. That's what I think. Anyways, we have probably another topic to get to, which is a more positive topic from this, which is, so Indian jewelry ad starring trans model wins hearts. Now you have to understand, India's not been a great place for LGBTQ rights at all. But now, I mean, this is out of nowhere, and I'm so glad that this is happening. Like, this is amazing. So let's watch the ad. Yeah. At Trivandrum? Yeah, that's where my mom's from. That's pretty cool. Wow. Sorry if the video's too loud. Incredible. That's the transformation. She looks very nice. Oh, it's a nice ad. Very nice ad. Very positive. Pure as love. Bima. Bima is so well known in India. Like, pretty much, it's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, like jewelry brand there. So for them to do this is a huge step forward. Like, wow. Like, I'm really shocked that they did this, and I'm so glad, in a good way, that they did this. This is really good that they did this, and I'm glad this happened. This is a sign that India's moving, at least Kerala, is moving in the right direction, because this was the Kerala branch, I think, that did this ad. And I'm so glad that this happened. Yeah. So it'll be inspirational for a lot of LGBTQ people around the world, but especially in India, it's going to be amazing because LGBTQ rights there have not been great. So now let's read the article talking about this ad. Okay. The 1-minute 40-second video charts the story of a transition of a trans woman, an awkward teenager with facial hair and self-doubt, who transforms into a beautiful, confident bride. The 22-year-old Meera Shingana Rahani in the lead. The video by Kerala-based jewelry house Bima depicts the love and acceptance that protagonists receive from her family. Each milestone in her life is celebrated through the gold jewelry, the gifter. Through the gold jewelry, the gifter. Okay. Titled Pure as Love. The ad has been viewed more than 900,000 times on YouTube and 1.4 million times on Instagram since its release in April, and has received rave reviews. Yeah, okay, nice. Meera, a student of sociology at Delhi University and a part-time model who came out to her family 2 years back, says when she first heard about the ad, she was very skeptical. I didn't want someone to appropriate my trans identity for commercial use. I was also nervous since the film involved transition, and as a pre-transition person, I'm shown as a man with a beard. Okay, but when I read the story and researched about the director, I said yes, and glad I did. Doing this has also helped me become more comfortable with myself, she told the BBC. I'm glad. India has an estimated 2 million trans people. Yeah, and in 24, that's a lot of people. Oh my god. And in 2014, the Supreme Court ruled that they have equal rights under the law as people of other genders. Yeah, but this line is important. But abuse and stigma remain. Many transgendered people are thrown out of their homes by their families, and most still make a living by singing and dancing at weddings or childbirth or through begging and prostitution, unfortunately. Yeah. Kerala is India's most trans-friendly state. Yeah, Kerala is a very progressive state in India. It's where I was born and grew up for about 6 years. 6 years? So I said, no, 8 years. My bad. Not 6 years. Kerala is India's most trans-friendly state. In 2015, it became the first to unveil a transgender policy to end stigma and discrimination towards the sexual minority group. But transphobia remains as real in Kerala as anywhere else in India. Yeah, I mean, bringing it in law is like the first step. The next step is education and getting people to understand the gender spectrum and trans identities and stuff like that, right? And then, when a culture has not had that in it for the majority of its existence, it's going to take a long time for it to, hopefully, but as long as it probably take a fair amount of time for people to start to accept it, right? But it should be still done. It can be done, in my opinion, for sure. That's definitely for sure. It's just, there has to be an effort too. This ad is great. It's a great first step, I think. But I think we need a bit more, as in the education system also has to adapt to trans people as well. Okay. Navya Rao, online marketing head at Bima and the brain behind the ad, told the BBC that her proposal for the campaign was met with fears and apprehensions from her colleagues. Yeah, not surprised there. All our previous ads had happy heterosexual brides, so we worried about how people would perceive it and react to it. Most of our stores are in rural parts of the state. We are not sure how much exposure there people would have had to these issues. Probably not too much, because unless you go to a private school in India, at least from when I was there, because I went to like an okay school, but you still had to pay for it. I think the public schools, at least what from my parents told me, were really, really bad, if there were any at that all. Depended on the state. But the 96-year-old jewellery house with dozens of stores in southern India and a branch in the UAE decides to go ahead with the ad and give a social message and start a conversation. This is really brave of them to do, seriously. I'm shocked and I'm very happy that they did this. This, I think, will give India the push in terms of LGBTQ rights, specifically in this case trans rights, in the right direction. Scrolled up. Okay, Miss Rao says she was well aware that the campaign could backfire. Memory of the last year's controversy over an advertisement by popular jewelry brand Tanishq also instilled fear. The campaign with an interfaith couple was withdrawn after a right-wing backlash on social media. Yeah, there's a lot of religious divide in India. Again, Hindus versus Muslims versus Christians. People. Yeah, during election time, it's usually very chaotic. There's usually they're fighting. A few people die. Because a lot of the elections, they will run on religious lines and caste lines as well. So it can be pretty chaotic, and I can see that happening. As unfortunate as that is, I can see that happening. That an interfaith couple is like, ooh. That's kind of a taboo, I think, in India. Again, I haven't been there for a while now. I would say about 10 years almost. So probably the country's changed. Definitely the country has changed. But at least when I was there and I was growing up and I was visiting yearly, when I moved to Dubai, that was, it was, interfaith was not a thing. At least not accepted. Mira says, oh, that was too loud. Mira says she was expecting a lot of conflict, especially since the ad shows a Hindu wedding which directly challenges the Hindu hetero-patriarchal system. Yeah. But Pure's love has received little hate, and the response Ms. Rao says has been overwhelming. There was some criticism of the ad, and we were accused of lending a voice to a cause that is unnatural, not supposed to exist in society. But our inboxes have been filled with positive messages. Many from the LGBTQI community have reached out to us saying that the ad touched their heart. I'm glad there is 2 million LGBTQ people, I think, that are at least known LGBT. There might be more that have not come out yet, and because of fear and stuff of the fear of being thrown out of your house and other things been done to you. So there's a lot of transgender people in India. So I'm glad that this is an ad for them. Sundai Pillai, a writer and brand strategist at Firework, a video platform, described the ad as revolutionary, in a good way. I watched it on a Malaysian news channel and I thought they might not sell any jewelry, but if the idea was to grab eyeballs, they did it, she said. Yeah, I hope they do. I've never seen any traditional brand do something so drastic. To take that kind of risk for a traditional jeweler was a revolutionary. Yeah, it was pretty revolutionary to do that. On Instagram, many described it as brilliant, beautiful, and confessed that they were moved to tears watching it. Thank you for giving me someone I can aspire to be on screens, read one comment on YouTube. I'm moved to tears to know that you've used a trans person for this film. For the first time, it feels like my story matters too, and our lives deserve to be happy too. This is remarkable, Bhima. Love Bhima. It is remarkable. It's an incredible thing. In India, where films and popular culture still mostly portray transgender people as caricatures, Ms. Pillai says ad campaigns like this can be a game changer. Yeah, I've seen movies when I was a kid in India where people used to, again, confuse cross-dressing people and trans people who cross-dress and trans people. And they used to be like, all sorts of crazy, they used to be portrayed as crazy. From what I can remember, right? So it wasn't, it definitely wasn't a great portrayal of trans people when I was young there. Advertisements and TV series are much more impactful than movies. They are played repeatedly in homes and have the power to change opinions. There can be a bit of resistance to them initially, but they can be a game changer, absolutely. TVs are a huge thing in India. Like TV shows, movies, Bollywood is, as I'm sure you all know, it's humongous in India. Like anytime there'll be a TV on somewhere, you can go down the street, you'll hear a TV. Like it's that popular. Television and now probably social media is like that too, I bet. But when I was growing up before social media, their TV was incredibly popular. Everyone, I think, had a TV. Ms. Pillai says when she praised the ad on social media, she mostly expected response from conservative Indians and angry trolls. There were some differences in opinion, but the number of those felt threatened was tiny. More than 95% of the response were positive, and that in itself is very heartening. It is beautiful. In the India clinic helping transgender people. Okay, so, I'm so glad that this is happening. I'm glad India is changing for the better. Despite our troubles with COVID now, we're still moving forward, and I'm glad that's happening. So all the 2 million LGBTQI people, and probably more than 2 million, let's be honest, will now at least feel like they're being represented. And we can push, and the education system hopefully can change and include trans people, LGBTQI people, in its curriculum. Because I wasn't taught, when I was growing up, that wasn't a thing. You have to understand. There was no mention of LGBTQI people. There was no mention of, anything like that. I had no idea, for example, I only found out about trans people when I was 18 years old in this country. I didn't know about gay people or anything like that until I came to this country. Like, that's the type of stuff. And again, I was in Dubai, but Dubai's education system is terrible. But that's a whole other story. But that's what it is. Like, I'm so glad that this is happening in India now. And I hope the education system will teach about LGBTQI people in a positive manner. Yeah, I think there's not much else not much more else to say about this, really. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Next topic now. Let's talk about the next topic. Another positive topic. I know, 2 in a row. Mexico decriminalizes abortion in landmark ruling. Mexico's Supreme Court has ruled that criminal penalties for terminating pregnancies are unconstitutional. And this is the country that Republicans say, like Trump, it's, they're sending rapists and murderers and, all sorts of racist stuff they say to Mexico, that they're backward, that they're this, that they're that. Look at them, look what they're doing. And look what's Texas doing, the Republicans doing. The Republicans basically outright banned abortion. I covered that in the last stream with the 6-week thing, and oh God. Look at Mexico. They're going forward. See, I don't want to hear anything about from the Republicans about Mexico being backward or inferior. They're better than you. For sure, they're better than you. I know saying that anyone's better than the Republicans is not that much of a compliment, but they're still way better than you. Because, everyone, basically anyone who isn't Republican is better. But my point is, look at Mexico. They're doing something progressive, while the so-called superior people, as the Republicans like to portray themselves as Americans as, their version of Americans as, are going completely backward. So, let's get into this article. Okay, so we've read that part. The ruling for the northern state of oh god, I don't know if I can pronounce this. Coahuila. Really butchered that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm only good at English. Prevents women from being prosecuted for getting an abortion. This is great. Abortion is currently severely restricted in all but 4 of the country's states. Wow. Okay. Unfortunate. Supreme Court Justice. Excuse me. Burp. Justice Luis Maria Aguilar described the move as a historic step for the rights of women. It is. On Tuesday, the court ordered the state of Coahuila. Oh God, I feel bad every time I say that. Coahuila to remove sanctions from abortion from its criminal code, as it should. The decision could pave the way for decriminalization of abortions across the country. I hope it does. Currently, abortion is only legal in a handful of states, except in cases of rape or where the mother's life is in danger. A judicial source said the ruling will affect the whole of Mexico, allowing women in states where abortion is criminalized to undergo the procedure with the judge's order. I'm glad that it's at least decriminalized. I think it should be legalized, but this is a good first step. The Information Group on Reproductive Choice, GRE, which campaigns for abortion rights, described the decision as historic. It really is. If a country is majority non-abortion, this is amazing. I'm glad to see some positive things going on in a world that's gone absolutely crazy, in my opinion. Climate change, I don't know if I shouldn't have sweared. YouTube's gonna be mad. Frickin', American Republicans. Everything's going crazy. Okay, Coahuila borders the U.S. state of Texas, where the Supreme Court allows state banning all abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. They border Texas? Oh my god. Incredible. So literally, if you're just across the border, you can't have an abortion. And if you're on the Texas side of the border. But if you're on the Mexico and you're in Coahuila, you could. That is just mind-boggling. Just a bit of land and everything changes. The ruling could open up avenues for people from Texas seeking legal abortions. The U.S. state recently banned abortion. Yeah, I know, okay. The decision to decriminalize abortion in what is Latin America's second largest Catholic nation might appear surprising. It really is. Because I know that there's a lot of... Mexico is very religious. So it is surprising for me that this happened. But awesome. I'm really... after what I saw in Texas, which was horrifying, I'm so glad to see something positive in that way. Remember Richard Spencer. Oh, okay. Hasanabi made a video on Richard Spencer. Go check that out. I'm gonna check this out. Check it out after the stream. Okay. However, the debate in Mexico has been gradually moving towards removing illegality for some time. High-profile protests by feminist and women's rights campaigners have underlined the need for greater reproductive rights in Mexico. Specifically, the Supreme Court was asked to rule on a law in the northern state of Coahuila which punishes women who have illegal abortions with jail terms after 3 years. That's insane. The 11 Supreme Court judges unanimously, oh my god, unanimously, so not even one dissenting vote. Hey, I think maybe people in Texas, y'all maybe should move over there. Seriously. Man, if you don't want to move anywhere else in America, this is a nice, this is a nice place to go if you don't want to live in America anymore. Unanimously voted to decriminalize abortion in that state, and under Mexican law, it will now apply to all other states in the country. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It is likely to take some time to be applied across the nation, but in effect, the decision provides each state with a roadmap towards new legislation. Furthermore, it should mean that women who are jailed for having abortions will be immediately released. Good. Decision likely to anger more conservative politicians in Mexico and the Catholic Church. However, However, the church's influence has been waning in recent years, and the government considered itself staunchly secular. I'm glad the Catholic Church's influence has been waning. There should always be separation between church and state. The church should simply be a place for people to worship and, worship and to come together in their worship, but should have zero impact on our politics. Period. Yeah, this is beautiful. I'm glad that there's some positive stuff that's going on when it comes to women's rights, specifically abortion. So it shows, there are countries that are moving forward, and then there are states like Texas that are not moving backwards, but literally running backwards, jumping, flying, whatever. They're going really fast right back in the medieval ages. So I hope that this proves an inspiration to people and to not lose hope, that if you fight for something and you push for it, you can get it done. Now hopefully the Texas thing does not stay at that, what they tried, the heartbeat bill, gets pushed back and vetoed or whatever. Hopefully the Supreme Court does do something, but the conservative Supreme Court, I don't know if they will do anything. I really don't know. I don't know. Well, I would have made a longer stream, but no one showed up in chat. Wow. So I guess I'm gonna have to cut this stream short. If you all enjoyed the video, the stream, please hit the like button on YouTube, comment, hit the bell notification on Twitch. Please subscribe. Not subscribe, sorry, follow. Follow me on Twitch so you know when I'm gonna post an update or anything. Anyways, see y'all on the next stream.